Good evening, councillors, ladies and gentlemen, members of the public. Welcome to the Highways and General Purposes Committee meeting for Wednesday, the 18th of June, 7:30 here at the Old School Lane in Denmead. Before I start, I think it's just, if I may, in terms of the agenda items, I note that the chairman for this evening's meeting, there's been some confusion over the last few weeks in terms of the chair for Highways and General Purposes, my mistake, sorry, Highways and General Purposes. So I have offered to chair this evening's meeting, if that's acceptable. If not, then I'm happy to have a show of hands accordingly. Sorry, Councillor Andrew.
In the absence of a chairman or vice chairman of the committee, the chairman of the council is present is supposed to chair.
I understand, and I was just making sure that everyone was aware, but thank you for reiterating. So that's why I'm here, as opposed to whoever should be here. But thank you for confirming or reaffirming that, Councillor Andreoli. So unless anyone has any other observations or concerns or questions, then I would like to carry on this evening to chair for this evening's meeting. And if that is acceptable, then two of the items on the agenda for this evening, item 4, election of chair, and item 5, election of vice chair, I would gratefully request that we defer that until the next H&GP meeting, because I don't have the ability to do that, I don't believe. So sorry, Councillor
Chair,
Lanford.
we should just go through the agenda as published.
Yep.
I understand that you agreed to agenda, so I believe we should go through the agenda as published.
Okay, sorry, Councillor Scully.
Yeah, the agenda is the agenda, and we ought to stick to it.
Okay.
That's the idea of publishing it,
Yep.
so that the public know what we're doing.
Okay.
That's how it's been published to the public, so we ought to carry on the agenda.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thanks for the feedback. Councillor Clay, sorry.
When it comes to an item agenda specific, so when it comes to a point at which you wish to defer an item, it's your prerogative to do so. Understanding orders 10A4, which means you can defer an item to committee or subcommittee if you wish, but that I believe has to go to the votes in order to move something.
Okay, thank you for the counselling. Sorry, Cam.
I could be wrong with that. It has to go to the vote. I'm not sure. I think is the chairman allowed to move it?
Well,
Just have some conversation.
Well, the only time I've done it is to rearrange planning, and it's usually agreed by show of hands. But I don't.
Thank you, Councillor Clay. Councillor Lanford.
Councillor Clay is quite correct. Items can be deferred to a committee, but this is the committee that something would be deferred to. So that's for full council to defer something to a committee. This is the committee.
Okay.
So
Any other comments or observations before we? Sorry, Councillor Clay.
It might be worth adding in terms of membership for this committee. Only states that the chairman must be elected at the annual full council. Therefore, if it's the full council at which that election takes place, that item should be referred to a full council. Therefore, leaving the fact that the vice chair can't be elected without a chairman of this committee. So, therefore, the item you can wish to defer to full council. The next one.
I think that was Councillor Andreoli. So.
In the past, we have had chairmen of committees resign from council, let alone from the committee, and the next committee has confirmed the vice chair as chair and then voted for another vice chair. I don't see any difference here, effectively.
Okay, Councillor Lanford Smith. Sorry.
HALC advised us that the decision made to elect the chairman at full council was null and void because the person that was elected to be chair was not on this committee and therefore could not be eligible for election. So HALC advised that that decision was null and void and that this committee should elect a chair. That is the advice that we've received from HALC. And as Councillor Andreoli has just said, this committee is committees regularly if the chair is not available or has left, then the committee elects the chair. So there is precedent for that, and it is following the advice that we have received from health. So we can deal with items 4 and 5 on this agenda, Chair. This meeting has been called in accordance with the regulations and the standing orders, and everyone that is entitled to be here at this meeting is present this evening, with the exception of apologies, which obviously we've not done yet on the agenda.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I would say it's down to your choice, you're the chairman. If you've received that advice, then you'll swallow it. If you've received other advice,
Well,
you're the chairman, you make the decision.
thank you.
So it's your, I believe it's your policy to make that decision.
Chair,
Sorry, Councillor Scott.
I don't believe it is your prerogative to make a decision. This is the agenda and it's been set already, so therefore it should be followed. There's no reason. The only person who can change the agenda is Jenny Hannon, the proper officer who set the agenda in the first place, and she hasn't changed it or deemed a reason to change the agenda, then it should stay as is, and you have no authority to change it. I know that you're chair of the council, but basically you're just another councillor like everybody else, and you have no exceptional powers to do anything like that. The chair resigns as the proper officer of the council, and not you.
Thank you, Councillor Scott. I suggest that we proceed with the current agenda as it is, as several councillors have referred, and then when we get to item 4 and 5, and I'm sure the discussion will probably continue or not. So, without further ado, have we received any apologies, please, Chair?
Councillor Hall.
Councillor Hall, thank you. Just Councillor Hall, yeah?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Item 2, declarations of interest. Arising from this agenda, members and officers excuse me, are invited to declare any relevant interests. Notwithstanding this item, members may subsequently declare an interest at any point during the meeting. Do we have any declarations of interest from anybody, please? I think that's a no. Thank you. Item 3, minutes of the previous meeting. To receive and confirm the accuracy of the minutes of the Highways and General Purposes meeting held on the 26th of March 2025. I have a copy in front of me which I have read. I wasn't at the meeting myself, but was there any other comments that anybody wishes to raise from those minutes, on the 26th of March that people have had a chance to review? Or no? Okay, in that case I'll sign the minutes then. Beg your pardon. Thank you.
Need a vote, Chair.
Do I have the? Can I have a show of hands, please, for the? Sorry, members of the public will have a chance to speak.
It is pertinent to the minutes.
Can it wait till the public participation then? Sorry, Councillor Androli.
I suspect Councillor Brown is referring to only those who were present at the last meeting can vote as to whether or not the minutes are accurate.
Right.
But offhand, I can't remember who was there and who wasn't, but it should be on the list.
It should be on the list. So the members of the meeting on the 7th of May, we had Councillor Brown, we had Councillor Androli, we had Councillor Langford Smith, we had Councillor Vickers and Councillor West. So, to your point, Councillor Androli, and I think anticipating what a member of the public was suggesting, or may have suggested, then those that are voting for the minutes of the previous meeting. So, a show of hands. Sorry, Councillor Langford Smith?
No, sorry, I was voting Chair, you asked for a show of hands.
Oh, beg your pardon, I was sorry.
Yeah.
I thought, so a show of hands for those that were in the meeting, yeah? Thank you, Councillor Vickers, Andrioli and Langford Smith. And thank you for the clarification accordingly. So I'll sign this one. Oops. in this one?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Item 4, election of a chair. Councillor Langford-Smith.
Since we need to elect a chair from the people within this room, I would like to nominate Councillor Andreoli. He has a lot of experience on council and is aware of policies and has served on the Purposes Committee for a significant amount of time. So I think he would be the ideal candidate to chair this committee.
Thank you, Councillor Langford-Smith. Do we have... Oh, sorry, Councillor Scully.
I'll second.
I was just about to ask if there were any other nominations, but thank you very much indeed for the prompt second. Do we have any other nominations for the chair? For the no, but I'll just repeat the one. Any other nominations other than Councillor Andreoli? I'll say what I'm going to say because I'm unsure about the outcome. And I accept that there's a recommendation or a proposal for Councillor Andreoli, and if Councillor Andreoli is okay with that, then we can decide. But I have received similar feedback from Hauck and others, whereby the appointment of the councillor on the 21st of May was agreed and confirmed in the annual parish council on the 21st of May. And that's been put in the draft minutes that have gone out internally for review. Based on that, there is a confusion and it needs to be ratified one way or the other because it hasn't had time to be ratified. There is a confusion as to whether that whether that nomination and seconded is a genuine position accepted or not. If you listen to the voice recording, it says something slightly different. If you look at the minutes that were put together, it says something slightly different. So there is a mismatch of information that needs to be ratified. I haven't, others haven't had a chance, I don't believe, to ratify that until this evening. I don't feel comfortable until I had that ratified, personally, to appoint a chair, because I believe there is a chair for the meeting that's already in place. Now, whether that's an acceptable chair and or a comment that was made earlier, I think by yourself, Councillor Langford-Smith, that in terms of serving on subcommittees or committees, to be a chair or not, there's another data point there that needs to be ratified, and that hasn't been ratified at this moment in time by the people that I sought input for only this morning. So, sorry, Councillor Scully.
You say you don't feel comfortable with appointing the chair. At the end of the day, you don't appoint the chair. This committee appoints the chair.
Understand.
Committee, and it's down to what the committee votes.
Yeah.
The committee is here now in full, and so therefore whatever we vote for now will be what it will be instantly.
I absolutely agree with you that this committee is it's not me that votes for the chair or nominate the chair. The committee would nominate the chair, accepted and agreed. But I do believe that there may be, and that needs to be ratified, and I haven't had the opportunity to do that until now, that the voted chair that agreed and dated on the 21st of May is not in this room. And therefore, I do not know whether or not that person should or shouldn't be in this room. If the person is entitled to be in the room, then that person is the current chair. If they're not entitled to be in the room, then absolutely we should appoint a new chair accordingly. And that's the piece of information that is still outstanding. I think Councillor Langford-Smith and then Councillor Andreoli, sorry.
Thank you, Chair. Hauck were very clear in that in order to serve as chair, you must be on the committee. And in the voice recording of the meeting of the 21st, you actually confirmed that to Councillor Carson, who asked that very question, and you confirmed that that was the fact, that in order to be chair or vice chair, you must serve on that committee. At that meeting, it was agreed, the resolution was that this committee, as is sat here, plus Councillor Hall, were the committee for this meeting. Therefore, the decision is that this is the committee for highways. So Councillor Berry was not eligible to be elected as chair, and HALC have confirmed that and confirmed that the subsequent election of him was null and void, and that we must elect this evening the chair of committee.
So,
And therefore, according to our standing orders and scheme of delegation, it needs to be someone on this committee. It cannot be someone that is not on this committee, because that is not as per standing orders, and you would be acting outside of the legal framework for committee, which is delegated responsibility from full council. So the role of chair is to ensure that our business is conducted in accordance with our standing orders, our legal frameworks, and council's own policies. So by deferring, you are then not adhering to our standing orders.
thank you for that. I've received contradictory information.
Sorry, Chair, just to interrupt. The information that you sent to HALC actually specified that Councillor Berry was a serving member of this committee, and that's why you received contradictory advice. Councillor Berry is not a serving member on this committee. HALC's advice was that they must be a serving member on the committee, or the decision was null and void. It's very clear.
Okay.
There is no room for any confusion there.
And I think there is another piece of confusion, if I may, Councillor Langford-Smith, on the basis that the membership of any committee to be either chair or vice chair, there's nothing in our standing orders, one way or the other, which says you can or you cannot be a vice chair or a chair if you have not served on the committee. It doesn't state you can, and it doesn't state you cannot.
It's in the scheme of delegation, Chair.
So, well, it hasn't been made visible to me on the scheme of delegation. So that's why I wanted to highlight the point earlier. So,
Councillor Andrew.
oh, sorry, sorry, Councillor Andrew, are you sorry?
Yeah,
Yes.
having listened to the recording, Chair, there is at one point, getting on for an hour in, where you read out the membership of this committee and ask if anybody has any need for clarification. As you quoted, we have to get it right.
Yep.
And the names on that list do not include Councillor Berry. As you read it out, because I recall helping to identify the previous members of the committee.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Okay. Sorry, Councillor Vickers, did you have a question? Sorry. So, according to the agenda, we need to elect a chair. There's been a nomination from Councillor Langford-Smith for Councillor Andreoli. Councillor Andreoli, is it something that you would be prepared to stand for accordingly?
Yes, if members wish me to do so, I will do so.
Okay. Do we have any other nominations for the chair for the Highways and General Purposes? No? Okay. So I think Councillor Langford-Smith made the proposal, and I think Councillor Scully seconded that. Can we have a show of hands, please, in terms of those in favour of the the appointment of Councillor Andreoli as chair for the Highways and General Purposes Committee, please? Can we have a
Can I ask for a recorded vote, please, Chair?
sorry?
Can I ask for a recorded vote, please?
Recorded vote? Yep. A recorded vote. Yep. Recorded vote. Acknowledged. Yeah. I don't know. Just acknowledged, right? Recorded vote, yep. Okay. So for those in favour of, show of hands, please, for those to support the elect. I beg your pardon. Sorry, Councillor Scott.
The one thing that I think makes Mr. Andrew only prime candidate is that he's served on committees for years, etc. And Mr. Berry, even though he's a good councillor, etc., has not served on highways at all ever, and so therefore he has no knowledge of the committee whatsoever. And I don't see how anyone in that position, i.e. complete novice, can actually run a committee effectively when we have a volunteer who has had extensive experience in the council and who has been on the committee before in the past, and so therefore is an ideal candidate.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Scobie. Okay, any other comments before we... Well, okay, in that case, could I have a show of hands, please, for the proposal for Councillor Andreoli to become chair of HGP? Those in favour? 3, I think that was. Those against? Any abstains? No. So, 3, right. So on that basis, the chair is not selected for HGP, for Councillor Andreoli, on a 4 versus 3, is that, sorry, I couldn't read it, but yeah, 4 versus 3. Sorry, Councillor Langford-Smith.
So can I ask how you intend to proceed?
Jolly good question. As the chair of the council, I believe I can chair for today's meeting. But back to my earlier point, I think we need to defer and re-elect a chair for the next meeting. Sorry, Councillor.
Which would mean that you would need a 5 councillor motion to rediscuss.
Yep.
And it's not good practice to continue having 5 councillor motions to rediscuss. It shows very poor management of committees, very poor preparation, and it makes council look as if they don't know what they're doing, which I think would actually be a fair comment at this point in time.
Okay, point noted and taken. So, unless anyone else has got any other comments, I suggest we carry on with the agenda as is. Thank you. Election of a vice chair. I go back to my earlier point that if I'm a current acting chair for this meeting only, then I don't believe I have the right to appoint a vice chair. I don't believe we need a vice chair, maybe, but again, sorry, Councillor Andreoli.
No, carry on, Chair. I'm putting my hand up to speak, but you hadn't finished your statement.
All
Carry
right,
on.
thank you. I'm unaware whether or not we need. I know there have been committees before that haven't had a vice chair. Maybe this is one. I don't know. I need to defer to more experienced chairs and ex-chairs, and therefore I would propose that the election of a vice chair is pushed into the next review, is in the next meeting, along with the election of the chair. That would be my proposal that I would like to put out. But before I do that, then Councillor Andreoli.
I took a statement that I think 7 members of this council voted for a change. Voted for a new chair, a new vice chair.
Yeah.
There are 8 roles on the council. As I understand it at the moment, 2 councillors have taken on, well, 1 councillor has taken on 3 of those roles. 1 councillor, i.e. yourself, has taken on the role of chairman, which basically leaves 4 or 5 other councillors who appear not to wish to step up to be the vice chairs or chairs of the committee. Sorry, I don't, it's 1 less than that because we do have the chair of amenities here. So I apologise to her for that. So we've had 3 members of the 7 so far taking on, I think it's 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 8 roles. I'm just wondering when the other members are going to step up to be the vice chairs. Because FAMP consists of the chair of council, the vice chair of council, and the chair and vice chair of the committees. And as it stands, you have yourself, Councillor Clay is, I think, 3 roles, and Councillor Carson in 1, Councillor Brown is vice chair in planning. But we have this committee who's going to step forward from the 7 and take on the vice chair's role.
Well, I hope that we have more councillors step up, to answer your point. And I agree with you. Sorry. I agree.
My other point is I can't see how we could possibly elect the vice chair without a chair.
Agreed. And that's my point at the beginning. So that's why I would like to defer item 5 on the agenda. Oh, sorry, Councillor Lenford-Smith.
I would just like it noted that Vice Chair of Council and Chair of this committee, Vice Chair and Chair of this committee also serve on the Finance Administration and Personnel Committee. That is a fundamental committee for this council in terms of ensuring that we meet our regulation requirements and that we look after our staff. 2 of the people that you're proposing as Chair and Vice Chair are serving, or you're planning that they will serve on the Finance Administration. And key is the Personnel Committee, and they've been found to have breached the Code of Conduct, not behaving in accordance with Council's legal obligations, alongside the requirements contained in our policies, protocols and procedures relating to conduct. They knowingly did things that caused Council to breach the legislation, so they went completely against legal advice, and they failed to value their colleagues and officers of the council and engaging with them in an appropriate manner. These are the people that you're having serving directly under you, managing the finance of this council, the administration of this council and the personnel of this council. I think you are in very dangerous waters, Chair. With all due respect, it's not down to you personally. I'm just very concerned for this council.
Thank you for sharing your concerns. Noted. So, do I have a vote? Sorry, I beg your pardon. Sorry, Councillor Scholey.
Yeah, can you clarify for me? I don't really understand for why you're turning down the opportunity of appointing Kevin as chair of this committee when he's been voted for by certain members, not everyone, and you're doing that in favour of somebody who hasn't even turned up to the meeting tonight. I don't understand that at all. You're favouring this invisible person over somebody who's got experience and who wishes to do the job over somebody who is apparently not that interested in doing it because they're not here. So I don't understand that. As leader of the council, do you think that's a relevant thing to actually do?
I don't understand it. I don't think I need to answer all of that question. And I'm not favouring any particular councillor that's either here or not here. And there was a democratic vote just a second ago, and as a result, not a democratic vote, but a recorded vote, and the decision was made at that particular time that we need to elect a new chair, and the chair that was proposed, was not elected. So at this moment in time, I am prepared to continue to chair this session, but it's of highest priority, I think, not just for me, but for all of us as elected councillors, to get the right chair and the right vice chair at the right time. And I still believe there is unanswered questions with different sets of feedback from different organisations inside and outside of the council that need to be ratified, and that hasn't been ratified, as I said at my very beginning comment.
Clarification, the the right to chair and the right to vice chair are people that you prefer.
This is nothing about any preference from me, the chair. Well, you've misunderstood then, because I don't have a particular preference. I just want to do the right thing. That's it. Okay. Any other comments? Sorry, Councillor Clay. Oh, sorry, Councillor Anjoli. I wasn't sure which hand was first.
Basically, irrespective, I acknowledge the comments of Councillor Scully, but we have taken the vote and it has passed on. So we need to move on to item 6, Chair, I think.
Yeah. Thank you, Councillor Anjoli. Councillor Clay.
That was the same as I was going to say. We're on item
Six.
items 5 now, as Councillor Angioli said, without chairman, we can't elect a vice chair, so we should go.
Agreed. So, Councillor Langford-Smith.
Sorry, point of order, Chair, you can elect a vice chair if there is no chair. You still can elect a vice chair.
And I've made the decision, or proposed the decision that we move that to the next H&G and P.
So you need to take a vote on that.
Okay. I propose, I propose that we don't elect the vice chair this evening and we move that to the next H&G and P meeting. Can I have a show of hands for those in favour of, we'll make sure I get the wording right, those in favour of moving the election of a vice chair to the next HGP meeting, which I think is the 30th of July. Sorry? Yeah, 30th of July. So those in favour of moving it to the 30th of July, can I have a show of hands, please? Mine as well. No, and those against, please? 3. Okay, thank you, Councillor Langford-Smith, for highlighting that, and we've moved on to, that means that will be part of the agenda for the 30th of July, please, Liz. Okay, moving on, item 6. Highways and General Purposes Committee Project Report. To receive and review the project report from the committee clerk.
Chair, I think that probably it's best to. I think it's probably best to hold off until we have a new chair, because we need to sit down and go through.
Agreed.
Is that okay?
I think that's a fair assessment. Is there anyone else got any comments regarding that? I think that makes perfect sense to hold off until the next chair or vice chair to review the project report. Any other feedback or comments? No? Okay. Thank you, Liz, for that. Public participation. This is where the meeting will recess for no more than 15 minutes to allow any members of the public to address the meeting. I see we have 2 members of the public this evening. Is there anything that either of you would like to raise to this committee, please?
Just to respond to Councillor Scully's comments about electing a totally inexperienced chair. I'm not saying which way that goes, but I would point out that I'm 2 totally inexperienced chair and was elected as chair, and I hope I'm not going to do that job.
Thank you. Any other comment that you want to make? Any other comments from any other? Yes, sir.
Yes, Chair. My point that I tried to raise before the minutes were signed was I wanted to check that all the amendments that I put through, because I was chair at that point, had taken place. Now those minutes have been signed, I cannot change them. That was my point on that side of it. There were quite a few amendments. I'm sure, I trust in the clerk got my email and updated all the issues that were with the minutes. I'll just take you up on a point where you said you wish to elect the right chair and right vice chair for this committee. That being decided, you want Councillor Berry in as chair of this committee. Everyone else apart from Councillor Hall is here. So who do you intend to be your vice chair of the committee? Because no one stood forward.
we'll defer that until the next meeting.
I also have grave concerns that you have around you members of this council that have broken the code of conduct, threatened staff with the sack, have never apologised, and you are making those members of staff work for them. And I will allude to a conversation that you and I had, in the fact that you basically said that you didn't particularly care whether those members of staff left. And I said you could leave the council open for constructive dismissal, and your words were, I think, what will be, will be. You'll probably deny that, Chair, but I want that on record in a minute, please.
A member of the public is entitled to say what they think, and then by all means add it to the record, because that's what they want. That's not a problem.
As I say, Chair, you will almost certainly deny it, but there you go.
I haven't said anything. Councillor Langford-Smith.
Thank you, Chair. I think if the public have nothing further to say, we need to close the public session and move on.
Great, thank you very much indeed. Public session now closed. Item 8. Hampshire PFI street lighting maintenance contract. We've been advised of the changes in street lighting maintenance and energy charges for 2025-26 to note. I don't think there's anything specific to that. I have a complete, thank you Liz, notes here in terms of the new rates, etc. I think it's to note for the file. I don't think there's anything else that needs to be added, but we have an email from Hans here regarding the unmetered and metered rates accordingly, and we can share that in the minutes accordingly. Right? Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Andrew.
Just a comment, it's gone up quite a bit per kilowatt, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Yep. Like the rest of the electrics, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, no choice but
No.
accept.
Yeah. Unfortunately, over a barrel comes to mind. Okay. Oh, sorry, Councillor Langford-Smith.
Just for members of council that are either new or don't normally attend meetings, the PFI is the Private Finance Initiative.
Thank you for highlighting that, and I should have spelled out the acronym. Thank you. Okay, now the points on next section 8. 9, pedestrian bridge. So, oh yes, I've been over that myself. Number 9, the pedestrian bridge at River End to Old River. Pedestrian bridge which connects River End to Old River and the path leading up to the junior school is rotting and becoming dangerous. The surrounding land is owned by the parish council. Councillor Brown inspected the bridge and found it to be in very poor condition, but still usable at the moment, but it needs a repair/replacement plan put in place to discuss and determine action. Sorry, Councillor Vickers.
I walked around there yesterday because I wanted to see the bridge myself, and I think the repair or whatever's happened to it is not good enough now. First 2 struts are stable, but the next 3 struts, if you get children running over there with bikes and stuff like that, or there's a particularly large load going across a pram or something, I think it is going to give way very quickly. I think it's very dangerous, and it either needs to be closed off or it needs to be repaired as soon as possible, because I believe in its current state we are exposing ourselves to some level of risk that something may happen to a member of the public or a child who's in that bridge.
Good, thank you for that. Any other observations, comments regarding? Sorry, Councillor Clay.
Yeah, I think the same, to be honest. In my opinion, it might be a proposal, if council's happy, is that we go out to get free quotes for either repair or full replacement, see what the best options are available to us. In the meantime, I do believe it should be closed in case someone does go through it. That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you. I think it was Councillor Langford-Smith and Councillor Andreoli. Sorry, Councillor Langford-Smith.
Chair, this is a very well used bridge. It's pretty much a fundamental part of the pedestrian highway for children getting to school. So I completely agree with Councillor Vickers' comment about the fact that it's a risk. it's going to take a while to get quotes, so I would propose that we ask our head groundsman to go and effect an immediate repair. It's well within their capability to repair and replace various parts to make it safe.
Thank you. Councillor Andrade?
Yeah, I would opine that if it is in a state where it can't be repaired in a reasonable time scale, then I think it actually needs to be removed, because if we try and close it, people will still use it. So, I mean, you could put terrace fencing on the front and on either end, and people will still, children in particular, will still climb it and use the bridge. So I think if it, whilst I'm not arguing that we can ask the ground staff to have a look and see if they can repair it, if the answer is no, it needs replacing or it needs more substantial repair, I think we need to take it out and make people, they will have to walk around, but it's an extra few hundred yards. School holidays coming up anyway, so it won't be quite such a thing, but I don't think we could just leave it there and not deal with it properly.
Okay, clear. Hi, Councillor Langford-Smith.
So I'll amend my proposal that we ask Sam to effect immediate repairs. If that's not feasible, then he takes steps to remove parts of the bridge so as to make it unusable. And we look to the next meeting to, or in between time, we could get quotes for it to be replaced if the needs be, if Sam says that it can't be repaired.
And that's your revised proposal, yeah? Okay. Sorry, Councillor Vickers and then Councillor Clay.
I would like to council to consider sort of a metal bridge for that for the quote. I know that it's going to be more expensive, but I think in the longer term, if it's so well used, it will, it's not going to rot quite so thoroughly as it has rotted on this occasion.
Okay.
Just I know it's going to be more expensive for council, but in terms of longevity, it might be worthwhile.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Clay, then Councillor.
My second proposal.
Okay.
I would just comment that when it was put in by the builder of River End, there were quite a few complaints that it was not wheelchair friendly. So if we're going to have to replace it, we should look at a design that is wheelchair friendly.
Valid point, yeah.
Probably means to drop it lower to
Right.
the string, but
Okay.
this day and age we should be doing so anyway. But
Yes.
it was put in, I think, rather cheaply by the firm that built the flats there.
Right. Okay.
Came to us by default.
Do we have a proposal? And we actually had a seconded. Do I have a show of hands on that particular proposal by Langford-Smith? Yeah. I think that was a majority. Yeah. Thank you. Good. I'll pick that up as well, right? Good. Thank you. 10. Flower bed and planter signage. Thank you. A planter plaque has been sourced. A decision whether to order more to be discussed. One planter plaque, I believe. If you haven't already seen it, I think it's acrylic of plastic of some, not metal or wood, but
Chair, when it was sourced, it's the same dimensions and the same quality as the planter plaques that we've been using.
okay.
Just a lot cheaper.
Thank you. Decision whether to order more to be discussed. Do we have the price of? Sorry, just one such second. Do we have the price of these particular?
That was about £35. We were paying about 180.
180 before, and this is now 35. Bit of a difference, isn't it? Okay, fine. Councillor Langford-Smith.
Can I just check size-wise that it actually does cover the spots that are on the where the adhesive was on the planters? Because if they try and take the adhesive off the planters, it's going to take the finish off, and then it will expose them for rust.
Councillor Langford-Smith, it is the exact same size as ones that we have ordered before, but I can get Sam to check it because we can order them. We can tailor them to what we need them.
And put it up against the ones that are in situ in my previous role. It's actually slightly smaller.
Oh, I did take the measurements off the previous invoice. There are two different
I
sizes.
think there are, but the ones that are in situ at the moment are larger. So that's what was agreed by council originally. And then when the new ones were done for the new sponsors, they made them much larger. And they also included things like the Facebook page and stuff like that, which was against our rules, because that's advertising. This is supposed to be sponsorship. So they actually made them larger, but that then means that the bits that they stuck them on with are larger. And so if we now go for that size, you're going to end up with sticky stuff around the outside.
So we need to clarify the size to make sure that the new one is equal or greater than the existing one, I guess, is the point that I think Councillor Langford-Smith raised, which is a valid point. Sorry, Councillor Vickers.
Can I just sort of like record my thanks to Liz for sourcing such a price difference? I think that is really significant, and you know, in terms of taxpayers, local residents spending this money.
Well, that's a great saving, isn't
I
it?
think it's a great saving, so I would like to record my thanks for the research you've done this.
Thanks, well noted, agreed. Okay, so I think what we've agreed there is that you're going to take a look at the sizes to confirm and make sure that the proposed new one is equal or greater than the old one, to make sure it covers up the previous backing adhesive or whatever, yeah?
Chair, do you want me to bring it back to the next meeting? Councillor Langford-Smith and Councillor Angel.
Chair, I don't think it needs to come back. I mean, the sign itself is very nice.
Agreed.
It's nice and clean, and as long as it's the right
I would-
size, I think.
I would concur, yeah, I would. Councillor Angel?
I was going to propose that we make sure we got the right size and then buy sufficient to go on
Agreed.
all the planters.
Yeah. Councillor Clare?
I believe a member of the public wishes to speak, in which case you can open up the public session a bit briefly to ask or clarify questions.
Thank you.
To speak.
I didn't notice the hand.
Yeah, well, yes, absolutely, yeah.
Um,
But, I noticed.
Sorry? Oh. Thank you for notifying Councillor Clay. Yes, I'm happy to open up the session for the member of public to make a comment regarding the flower bed and planter signage.
When Liz and I went through the signage and what was going on it, I'd like to have seen the Denby Parish Council logo bigger and supplied by smaller, so that the logo of the Parish Council stands out as opposed to, as that does, supplied by stands out. That was my own comment, Chair.
Thank you. Public participation now closed again. Thank you. Fair comment. Got a note of that, Liz? See if we can get that. I don't know whether they can do that. I don't know. But it's, I guess the graphics on that just need to be almost reversed, really, don't they? But
Chair, are you happy for me to check the measurements and redo that and send it out to the committee?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
thank you. And point noted for Councillor Vickers in terms of the saving for the parish. Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Joe?
I did make a proposal that we go ahead and buy them, but I'm not sure if you seconded it.
I'll second.
Oh, beg your pardon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, otherwise we cut back in 6 weeks.
No, I agree. So you're right. Thank you. And the proposal was to allow Liz to check the sizes and the graphics sizes to make sure that they, and then if all okay, to purchase a number for the number of planters. I don't know how many we need, but that was the proposal, and I have a seconded. Do I have a show of hands on that proposal? That's unanimous. Thank you. Good. Okay, number 11, auto speed watch device. The auto speed watch device has been re-registered and relocated to blank. To note, I think I'll leave it at that. Unless anyone has got any other comments, I suggest we move to item 12. Item 12, glass bins at Kidmore Car Park The overflowing glass bins at Kidmore Car Park were reported to Winchester City Council, excuse me, who advised the bins are scheduled for collection on Monday. I'm not sure which Monday, but anyway, on every Monday, with an extra ad hoc collection on Saturdays to note. Any comments just to note? I mean, don't use it on the weekends because it's always full. Just noted then, okay? Thank you. 13, Denmead War Memorial. Somerville Stone have confirmed that they can remove the section with Ronald Balston's name on it and engrave the names again. The cost will be £300. They have been instructed to proceed. Again, to note. Sorry, Councillor Langford-Smith.
Can I please ask that we don't put Ronald Bolston because his name's Roland
Oh, okay.
and it's on the memorial as Richard. So if we change it from Richard to Ronald,
We need to have the right name on it, that's for sure.
Apologies.
We need to make sure we have the right name, whether it's Richard, Ronald, yeah. Point taken, thank you very much indeed. Noted, thank you, Liz, okay. Any other comments on that? Right, 14, burial ground. Right, applications, 14.1, to note the list of applications since the last committee meeting. There have been, forgive me, I'm not sure of the particular process for this particular part of the agenda, but I'll read out the number of applications in terms of memorial applications. There have been 2. There's ashes interment. There's been 1, and that's it. And it's to note. So I don't believe there's anything that needs to be covered on that. I'm just reading those out on the 3. Okay. Thank you. 14.2, memorial testing. The report has been received from MemSafe following the safety testing. No headstones failed. To note again, I guess that's good news that nothing failed. Again, just noting it for the benefit of the council. Unless there's any comments, I suggest we move. 14.3, burial ground fees. To review the fees for this financial year, increase in line with consumer price index to discuss and determine action. We have, for those of you that are not familiar with the consumer price index, we have a list here. I'm guessing that's been provided by Jenny. No? Oh, is it something you pulled off as well? Okay. So it ranges from 2% right the way through to 3.5 of next, I beg your pardon, it's May 2024 was 2% right the way through to 3.5 for April 2025. So I'm guessing that you need to agree and discuss and determine action in terms of the fees and what we should be charging accordingly for this current financial year, which is already 4 months in, right? Sorry, Councillor Andrade.
I propose that we add the 3.5% to what we're currently paying, what we're currently charging.
Charging.
Not what we're currently paying.
I was going to say charging.
Yeah, we have to pay those who perform the earthworks, shall we say? But that's up to them what they charge us. So I would propose that we just add 3.5%.
Okay, Councillor Scully.
Yeah, I'd just like to note that the current inflation is 3.7%.
The what, sorry?
3.7% is current inflation. That was April 25. In June, at the end of May, it was 3.7%. I just thought I'd let you know.
No, I think it's changed again as of today, right, for the current month, yeah? Okay, we have a proposal, I think. I beg your pardon, sorry?
Well, I'm happy to modify it to be the current one at 3.7.
Right, that was going to be my comment back. So based on
That's the latest
whatever is the
study.
current CPI, 3.5 or 3.6 or 3.7, the proposal, I think, from Councillor Andrade was to allow the 3.5, 6 or 7 to be added to the current charge. And that's the proposal, correct?
No, if it's 3.7, then
Yeah,
we should say
whatever the number.
3.7.
Yeah, agreed. So that was the proposal. Do we have any other proposals, or do we go straight into a second? You're happy to second that? Thank you, Councillor Clay. Any other comments on that? In which case, can I have a show of hands, please, for the proposal from Councillor Andrioli, seconded by Councillor Clay. The proposal was to add straight 3.7, or whatever the CPI is at the moment, to the current charges, yes. Sorry, is that a question or a vote? Sorry.
No,
Okay, fine. Sorry, thank you. Okay, I think okay with that, Mr. Yeah, thank you for that. 14.4, a request from a non-resident. Inquiry has been made regarding the fees that would be charged in the event of a non-resident passing and being interred in a new reserved plot next to her late husband. The fees for a non-resident's full interment in 2022 would have amounted to 4,375. We no longer allow burials for non-residents, but this is a reserved plot and was last renewed in September 2022 at a cost of 525. SDFS, I guess that's South Downs Funeral Services.
Yes.
There we go, I was just guessing the acronym, has passed the cost on to the inquirer, who has responded asking if the parish council would accept a payment of 2,825, which is the cost of an additional interment into an existing plot. Whatever is agreed, the fees would be subject to normal rises agreed by the parish council to discuss and determine action.
Chair, could I just mention that the person in question hasn't passed yet. They're just wanting...
They're planning, they're future planning, aren't they? Thank you for that, that's useful. Okay, thank you. So in essence, I think what they're asking for as a non-resident to have a lower cost compared to what would have amounted, and whether or not parish council would accept a payment of 2,825 compared to a fee of 4,375, the way I read that. Any comments, observations to discuss and determine? So if there's nothing to discuss, we just need to determine. That's the point. Do I have any? Don't have any. Sorry, Councillor Vickers.
I guess, yeah, it's broken up this discussion, but my view is that, you know, does this open and set a precedent for people sort of putting a bid in to come into the burial site?
Future proof.
Yeah, at a cost that they want to pay. Even short of sounding harsh, I don't know whether that's something that
Okay, that's fair point.
open up the discussion.
Yeah. Councillor Scully.
No, I think the missing point here is that his reservation fee paid at £525 in 2022. So then people have already paid reservation fees for several years that this could possibly apply to in the future if we did agree to it.
Okay, I
There
understand.
won't be anybody as such. So
Yeah.
I presume you have to look
Thank
at
you
it
for clarifying.
from that point of view.
Okay. Councillor Langford Smith.
Unfortunately, this committee does have to make the right decisions, not the easy ones. And Councillor Vickers is quite correct in that it would be easy to say, yes, that's fine. However, our regulations do state that the fee that's payable is the fee that's payable at the time of death, not when you book. And we are quite clear that the reason we have a disparity in the charge for residents and non-residents is because we're running out of space at the burial ground. And therefore, the reduced price is for residents and the higher price is for non-residents. And we've been quite clear about that in the past.
Thank you. And just for my, sorry, Councillor Vickers, just
So
what,
that's what I was trying to sort of get at in a fairly crass way, but that's what I was trying to get at.
and just for my information, because I don't have it, have we done anything like this before? Or is this only, if we were to accept the proposal, if we were to understand and accept the non-resident's wish, have we actually done this before? As Councillor Vickers said earlier, is this setting a precedent if we did decide to go down that route?
South Downs Funeral Services quite regularly challenge us with regards to our fees
Okay.
and say, oh, they're not fair. We don't tell them what fees they charge customers. Customers. We don't dictate their charges, and
No,
this
point.
committee agrees the charges, and we also agree the rules. So if South Downs are not happy with our rules, then they're quite welcome to find alternative arrangements. But our rules are quite clear on this matter.
Okay. Sorry, Councillor Andrew.
It would set a limited precedent, as I think Councillor Scully alluded to, in terms of it's quite a while since we stopped reservations of plots, though we have allowed those who had reservations to continue to reserve them, which is what's happened here. Obviously, the gentleman's buried in a grave and the wife has a reservation on the next grave. I don't believe we should set a precedent saying, oh well, we'll treat you as a resident.
Right.
So
we haven't done that before, right?
no.
Right. That's what
There's residency.
There's conditions attached to it.
Yeah.
Conditions. I think it's
3 years.
3 years after they leave the
Right.
village.
Okay.
That allows for people who
So-
go to homes and things.
That makes sense to me. So, do we have a proposal then? Because Councillor Vickers.
Can I just say that I think it's a significant difference. It's a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
And again, I take it back to the fact that this is the only residents that we're acting for. So
Agreed.
I think, it's not pennies. It's a lot of money. So so that's my last
Okay.
final.
No, that's fine. Councillor Andrew.
Sorry.
So you did have your hand up.
Yes, I did.
Oh, right.
I was just trying to, not quite sure I understood what Councillor Vickers just said, but
I think she was referring to it's not an insignificant amount of difference, and therefore personally I don't think the value of the difference is the subject at hand. It's the
No.
precedent of the issue.
yes,
Is the subject at hand.
I would suggest that we should, well, I guess on the proposal, that we should go back and say, we will allow the interment, but at, well, actually, it would be the non-residence price updated by the
CPI.
increases over the last few years.
Yes, yeah.
So it would probably be getting on for 4,500.
Second that proposal.
Just before I put that to vote, the member of the public wishes to speak.
I'll be very quick.
I'll open it up for the member of the public on this particular occasion for the request from the non-resident issue.
Just for clarity, this person hasn't died.
Correct.
So you are setting up, they're asking for a price now,
Yes. That was made
and they haven't passed away.
That was made by the clerk earlier. So yeah.
You cannot agree to a price now, it has to be at the time of
No.
death.
Point taken. Private public session now closed again. There was a proposal made.
Well,
Sorry.
Can I amend it then?
Yes.
To say that we go back and say that the non-residence fee calculated at the time of that the interment is required, based on inflation above the
And our price at the time.
The price at the time.
price,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Not-
and that's the price
Not
at the time.
future-proofing it again.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yes.
That's your proposal. Yeah.
I will second.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have a show of hands based on that proposal, please? I think that was unanimously. Thank you for that. 14.5, request for a sloping desk memorial plaque. A request has been received for a sloping desk memorial plaque to be agreed for a cremation plot in Northfield. The inclusion of a small image has also been requested to discuss and determine action. So for those of you that just show this to everybody, just make sure they've seen a copy. This is a sloping desk plaque, apparently.
Chair, since the minute the
Oh, right.
agenda and everything went out, I've had a copy of the illustration that they want on it. The gentleman's name was Robin, and they're asking for.
I'll use that version then, not that one. Is that right?
And I've also had another request today for another small kind of image to go on one.
Sorry, is that this particular one here? Is this a separate one?
This has come in today.
Oh, is it?
So this is
Okay.
This is also for an image to go
Right.
into the, and we have got cremation plaques that have got images of roses and crosses. So it's whether we agree to
Okay. Fine. Thank you for that. Councillor Androli, then Councillor Langford-Smith. Oh, was it? I beg your pardon. Sorry, Councillor Langford-Smith.
I have no objection to this as a memorial. It's very in keeping with the country burial ground. It looks very neat and it provides the opportunities for flowers to be put as part of the memorial. I would like a closer look at the picture because we don't allow photographs, but that looks to be...
Doesn't look like a
picture of Robin.
photograph,
I believe
yeah.
we have got
It's an engraving of a
with
robin.
a robin
Yeah.
in already. And we also don't have a problem with crosses or flowers. But again, I'd like to...
That's just a symbol.
I don't believe that fits with our regulations.
Apparently the lady was very keen on cricket.
Oh, it's a cricket thing, is it?
Can I have a look?
Can we pass that round? Sorry. Councillor Androli, while we're passing the items round.
We haven't agreed to this style of memorial
Thank you.
as part of the regulations. When it comes to images of any sort, they are need to be brought to the committee for approval.
Which is what
The
we're
only,
doing, yes.
well, obviously that's what's happened. The only exception being crosses, which are just automatically accepted.
Okay.
So,
Do you want to pass that round? Sorry, Councillor Vickers, sorry, just to make sure everyone's seen it, and then we can decide as to what action we should take, I guess. There's two here, there's two different ones. One's a...
that one actually not on the agenda though, is it?
No.
Chair, so I'm sure we could make a comment about the...
Oh, what about the first one, sorry?
Yeah, the
Can you
first
see
one,
that one? Okay.
Yes,
Has everyone had a chance to see that one, right? So can I just have a proposal then regarding this sloping desk memorial plaque with the engraving, I think it is, of a robin, I'm guessing, to be agreed for a cremation plot in Northfield. This includes a small image that has also been requested to discuss and determine action. Councillor Androli.
That one we've just seen, it was just an outline, wasn't it? It wasn't in colour or anything, because we have had requests in the past for items to be in colour, which doesn't go down.
No.
So I would suggest that with the small image of a robin on it, it's
Councillor Andrioli, excuse me, Chair. The first request was in colour, and I went back to them and said that I very much doubted that we would allow the colour, and could they send it as an engraving, which they then did.
So it's a
I would propose that we accept the this with an engraved but not coloured robin.
Seconded.
Okay, can I have a show of hands on the acceptance of that? Thank you very much indeed. That's carried on the basis that the sloping desk plaque with the engraved robin as opposed to coloured robin. I think regarding the second item that has come to your attention, Liz, today, I think that we need to bring that back and need guidance in terms of what we could or couldn't accept for a future meeting, I would suggest. Because that wasn't initially on the agenda anyway, and we need to stick to the agenda. Okay? Right. Okay. Thank you. That's 14.5. 15, social media. To discuss and determine action on what content could be added to the Parish Council's social media channels. Councillor Langford-Smith.
I suggest that we put something about the bridge after Sam has had a chance to have a look at it, so
Good
that
point.
we can communicate what is going to happen.
The plan, yeah. That's a good call.
Do we need to communicate anything to the school? What's our position with it? Should we alert the school and ask them to put it in the
It's
communication?
probably a...
It's not a great idea to be using it. If you can use an alternative route, we would, as a council, appreciate
Have we normally notified the school of any particular closings or rediversions of footpaths in the past is a matter of interest? I don't know. So
I don't think it was hard to do that. It was good.
I think it's probably quite good practice. It's, yeah, personally, I would concur. Okay, so to discuss and determine action, I think the idea about the bridge being repaired and or put out of use, depending on how bad the bridge is, and the notification accordingly of that to the social media plus the school, I think was the agreed. Is that a show of hands for that, please? Yeah, I think that's okay. Yeah, thank you. Good point. Okay, thank you for that. And then 16, matters for the next agenda, to receive, excuse me, any matters for the next agenda. One of those will be the chair, I'm sure, the vice chair. But sorry, Councillor Androli.
I did actually email late this afternoon, early this evening, I can't remember, a message, an email to the clerk, copied yourself and Councillor Clay on it, because I noted another bridge across the main river on the Greenways. The surface is breaking up, and that's a Hampshire Highways bridge which they've repaired twice in the past. I did put a comment on the email that obviously it should, if necessary, can come to the meeting, but I think some action ought to be taken beforehand because they're becoming a trip hazard.
And who owns that bridge, sorry?
Hampshire
Hampshire
Highways.
Highways.
That'll be the third time they've had to repair it.
Will it?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have the ability to obviously contact Hampshire Highways and ask them, Liz, to investigate ahead of the next session? Yeah. Thank you. Good point. Is there anything else that needs to be added to the next agenda, please? No? In that case, I will close the session. Thank you. Their agenda, is it? Okay, thank you. There's a spare one.